Hello everyone, welcome to another session on Indian polity. Especially today we are going to deal with the Indian polity timeline. Okay, some of the important aspects regarding the formation of the Indian Constitution. Formation of the Indian Constitution. We are not going to discuss about the events that were happening after the formation of Indian Constitution, but we are going to talk about the Constituent Assembly time period and also till the formation of the Indian Constitution. So let's see what are the important events associated with this. In 1934, okay, the idea of Constituent Assembly was proposed. So the question is, who proposed this idea of the Constituent Assembly? It was M.N. Roy. M.N. Roy proposed the idea of a Constituent Assembly in the year 1934, and he was a pioneer of the communist movement in India, and he was the first to propose the idea of Constituent Assembly in India. The concept gained traction as a democratic method to frame India's constitution, because so people understood the need for framing the constitution, and it was first proposed by M.N. Roy. The second event that happened in the year 1935, so here International Congress as an organization started demanding about the constitution of the Constituent Assembly, and in the year 1936 in the Lucknow session this was actually adopted also. So 1935 is also important. 1934 M.N. Roy proposed this idea. 1935 and 1936 you could see that the Indian National Congress took its steps to frame the constitution of our own, especially the Constituent Assembly, because for framing the constitution we need an assembly, we need a Constituent Assembly. In the year 1938, Jawaharlal Nehru made a statement, that is, the constitution of free India must be framed without outside interference by a Constituent Assembly elected on the basis of adult franchise. So here he is clearly emphasizing on the importance of non-interference by outsiders. So especially we are pointing towards the Britishers. So without any British interference, we should frame our own constitution, that too through the concept of adult franchise. So 1938. In the year 1940, August offer by the British government is also important, because the first time the British government is going to talk about the relevance of a Constituent Assembly for us. The British promised to give Indians the right to frame their own constitution after the war. So after the war, because 1940 we know that the war is going on, 1939 the war started, until 1945 war was there. So after the war, we could actually frame a constitution. The Indians could frame a constitution. That was their point. This was an acknowledgement of the growing demand for constitutional self-governance. Okay, it was actually they are acknowledging the importance of constitutional self-governance, and not only that, it was also a help towards the Indians as a return to our policy or International Congress policy for accepting Indians' involvement in the Second World War, because we become a part of the Second World War. India as a country become a part of Second World War, and the International Congress accepted that, and it was actually a reward for that also, the August offer. Another important event took place was regarding the Cripps mission. That was in the year 1942. The Cripps mission made a draft proposal for the formation of independent constitution for India after the Second World War. Okay, because the Cripps mission was a failure actually. So that's the reason why we do not have much discussions regarding the Cripps mission and their points. Okay, so 1940 August offer, and 1942 it was Cripps mission. Stafford Cripps was the person behind this. And the most important event, or the most important initiative, took place in the year 1946. That was the Cabinet Mission Plan. The Cabinet Mission Plan announced. The British sent a mission to India to discuss the transfer of power and the formation of Constituent Assembly. Very, very specifically, they mentioned about the formation of Constituent Assembly. It was a 3-member commission. Cabinet Mission was a 3-member commission. And who are the members? That is also really, really important. A.V. Alexander, Pethick Lawrence, and Stafford Cripps were the members of this particular commission, and it laid the framework for how the constitution would be framed and drafted by the Indian representatives. Very important. So they have given us a very clear idea, a clear route for actually creating our own constitution. So Cabinet Mission Plan is very, very important. when we are looking at the formation of Indian Constitution. So I hope this part is clear. 1934 it was the M. N. Roy, 1935 International Congress, 36 also, and 38 we could see that Jawaharlal Nehru made a statement regarding it. 1940 August offer, 1942 Cripps mission, 1946 Cabinet Mission Plan announced. So based on Cabinet Mission Plan, we have made the preparations and we framed our own Constituent Assembly. In the year 1946, December 9, the first meeting of the Constituent Assembly held. Okay, December 9, 1946, the first meeting held. The Constituent Assembly met for the first time in New Delhi with 207 members in attendance. So very, very important to understand this. So first meeting of the Constituent Assembly, and the famous decision they have taken was regarding the selection of the interim president and the interim chairman. That was Dr. Sachidananda Sinha, who was the senior-most person among the members. So that's why he became the interim president of the Constituent Assembly on December 9, 1946. After 2 days, that is in the year 1946 itself, December 11, they have elected the permanent president of the Constituent Assembly. That was Dr. Rajendra Prasad, elected as the permanent chairman. So Dr. Rajendra Prasad was unanimously elected as the president of the Constituent Assembly. H.C. Mukherjee and V.T. Krishnamachari were elected as vice president. So very, very important to understand this. Another major incident happened on December 13. So after 2 days. So 9th, the first meeting. Then after 2 days, the permanent chairman or the president was elected. And then after 2 days, we could see that Jawaharlal Nehru moved the objective resolution in the Constituent Assembly. So we were having a Constituent Assembly and we were having certain members also. But what are we going to do? What is the outcome of this particular meeting? What is the outcome of this particular assembly? That we need to decide. And for giving a clarity on that, Jawaharlal Nehru has moved the objectives resolution in the assembly, later becoming the foundation for the preamble of the Indian Constitution. Okay, so on January 22nd, 1947, the Constituent Assembly has adopted the objective resolution. So basically, objective resolution involved how our constitution should be. What are the philosophies of our constitution? What are the objectives of our constitution? So soon after finishing our constitution, how it should look like. Okay, whether we have achieved our goals. So those goals were actually listed in the objective resolution. So that was on December 13, 1946. Now, August 15, 1947, we knew that India got independence. Okay, with the passage of the Indian Independence Act 1947, India became an independent dominion, and the Constituent Assembly became a sovereign body with full powers to frame the constitution. So India got independence 1947. So this has to be very clear in your mind. Our Constituent Assembly was framed before we got independence. Okay, 1946, we have started our Constituent Assembly, but India got independence in the year 1947 only. Now, on August 29, 1947, a drafting committee was formed. So we knew about drafting committee because that is one of the most prominent committees in the Constitution, and drafting committee was chaired by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So this drafting committee has the responsibility to draft a constitution. So there are various committees working on the formation of constitution. So all these ideas, all these notes, all these proposals, all these opinions need to be compiled as a draft constitution. That is the duty of the drafting committee. So they can actually decide on what need to be edited and what need to be deleted. All those things they can actually do that. So Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee, and the committee played a pivotal role in shaping the final document. So August 29, 1947, the drafting committee was formed. On 4th November 1948 to 9th November 1948, this draft, okay, the draft which was prepared by the drafting committee, it actually went for the first reading. So the drafting committee published the draft constitution of India in February 1948, and the draft was introduced in the assembly in November 1948. So, okay, so the first reading of the draft is actually happening there. And from 15th November 1948 to 17th October 1949, the second reading happened. Second reading means it's a close by close draft discussion was conducted in this assembly. So they are going into the details of each clause, each articles. and finalizing that. So that is the second reading. Then comes the 14th November 1949 to 26th November 1949. The third reading happened. So in the third reading, there is a final stage. Okay, they are finalizing the entire document, and the assembly finished the third reading. And November 26, 1949, we knew that it is the Constitution Day. Our Constitution was adopted. Okay, the Constitution of India was formally adopted by the Constituent Assembly, and this date is celebrated as the Constitution Day or Samvidhan Divas. Very, very important. Okay, so on 26th November 1949, our Constitution was adopted. So in our preamble, if you look at our preamble, you could see that towards the end there is a sentence saying that on this 26th day of November 1949, we hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. So that is a very important statement. So this has to be very clear in your mind. Our Constitution was adopted by the Constituent Assembly. It was not adopted by the people of India. It was not given to the people of India. It was adopted by the Constituent Assembly on 26 November 1949. So now comes the most important aspect. Our Constitution came into effect, or we can actually say that the commencement of the Constitution, that happened on 26 January 1950, the Republic Day. On the Republic Day only, the Constitution comes into effect, or Republic Day is considered as the commencement of the Constitution. The Constitution of India came into force, making India a sovereign democratic republic. A sovereign democratic republic. Okay. Dr. Rajendra Prasad was sworn in as the first president of India, and this day is celebrated annually as Republic Day. Very important day, 26 January 1950, the commencement of the Constitution, which means we have actually opened the Constitution for everybody in the country. Okay, so this has to be very clear. Our Constitution was adopted by the Constituent Assembly on 26th November 1949, and our Constitution was coming into effect on 26th January 1950, that is the Republic Day. Okay, it should be very clear. This is the whole timeline, important timelines regarding the formation of the Indian Constitution. Okay, we know that Indian polity is a very important subject in UPSC Civil Service examination and all other examinations. So you have to be very clear about these important timelines or the chronological order of the Constitution making. Okay, I hope this session was useful for you. If it was useful for you, please do share it with your friends so that they will also learn, and this will be helpful for your upcoming examination also. So thank you so much for your patient listening. Thank you.